All right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you get to listen to this podcast. My name is Solomon Oluwabeye, and I'm your host today on this part of this podcast. This is Philpot Ministries podcast, and today we're going to be looking at an important topic: the place of faith in mental health. Now, we spoke to Mrs. Adeshinan in a live program before we get on this one, and we looked at the intersection of mental wellness and faith. And you need to go watch it. That's all I can say because it is an interesting one. It is an important one for you to watch. Well, I'm going to bring her on so that we can look at the place of faith in mental health. Mrs. Adeshinan, thank you so much, man, for being here with us on this podcast platform.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, man. So, we are looking at the place of faith in mental health. What is the relationship or correlation, or how does faith and mental health works together? And over to you, man.
For too long, there has been a divide between faith and mental health, with mental illness being viewed as a moral or spiritual failing, and spirituality being viewed as unscientific. Faith and mental health are not identical to each other. In fact, they are complementary. If mental health is health, that includes our whole health, our physical health, our mental health, and our spiritual health. Faith can help us in many ways that traditional treatment can't. Faith is a powerful thing. Faith can help us make sense of our suffering. Faith can give us strength to persevere through hardship. Faith can help us connect with a community that cares. And faith leaders tend to be some of our most frequent first responder in mental health crisis, especially in community. There is a real opportunity here to partner with faith leaders to help educate congregation about mental health, end the stigma, and get people the appropriate mental health support they need and deserve. They can introduce them to a series of blogs of faith and mental health. They have faith support groups, and they have awareness outreach programs, suggestions for faith communities, and more. Spiritual belief, which is faith, can be beneficial for a person's health, increasing their optimistic and resilient while decreasing their risk of depression, substance abuse, suicide, and risky behavior. Spiritual belief can bring together people who share the same values, giving them a sense of belonging and greater social support. For community and faith leaders, faith and community leaders are often the first point of contact when individuals and families face mental health problems or traumatic events. In fact, in times of crisis, many will turn to trusted leaders in their communities before they turn to mental health professionals. We need to create community connection for mental health. When leaders know how to respond, they can help educate individuals and families about mental health, increase awareness of mental health issues, and making it easier for people to seek help. Community connection and support are also important to the long-term recovery for people living with mental illness. Faith communicates are also in a unique position to reach many of the millions who are struggling with serious thoughts of suicide each year. Many people having thoughts of suicide feel hopeless, they feel trapped, and often struggle to face another day. Suicidal thoughts are often accompanied by a spiritual crisis or deep questioning about the purpose of life. Faith leaders who are better able to recognize the signal of suicide and know how to respond can serve as an expanded safety net for those most in need. What community and faith leaders can do? They can educate your communities and congregation. Promote awareness by educating the members of your community and congregation about mental health through educational forum and other opportunities. Invite local mental health experts, including those who have experienced mental illness, to speak with your congregation or at community gathering. Share facts and common myths about mental health. Support the development of a trauma-informed community. Trauma often lies beneath seemingly unrelated problems. Organize additional meetings, dinner, or other gathering for members of your congregation or community to have conversation about mental health. You identify opportunity to support people with mental health. Religious and other community organizations can play an important role in supporting individuals living with mental illnesses and encouraging them to seek help. Consider offering your organization's meeting space for community conversation and support group focused on addressing mental health issues. Provide space for peer-led group that give people the chance to tell their stories in their own time and way. Include safe shared spaces for people to interact, for example, parks and community centers. If they are not comfortable in the church, they can go to the parks and put them in groups. That can foster healthy relationship and positive mental health among community members. Support community programs, for example, peer mentoring programs, opportunity for volunteering. That encourage social participation and inclusion for all people. They can also connect individuals and family to help. Strengthen the connection with your community to mental health services and support and enhance linkages between mental health, substance abuse, disability, and other social services. Learn the basic signs of mental illness and other facts about mental health to encourage those in need to seek help. Remind others that people can and do recover from mental health challenges and that help is available and effective. Train the community members, such as adults who work with the children, youth, older adults, veterans, and etc. We don't just want to train them on how to teach them Bible study or something. You need to teach them about mental health. So when they notice it, while they're taking care of the children, that will help them to identify the signs of depression or suicide and refer people to resources. Develop relationship with local mental health services provider and other family and youth organizations to help to direct individuals and families in need to available services and support in the community. We have 911, we have a problem with medical emergency. For mental health, share the 988, that is suicide and crisis lifeline, in your community newsletter or other publications. Call or text 988 or chat the lifeline. Promote acceptance of those with mental illness. I know it's stigmatized, but promote it. The voices of leaders and attitude about mental health condition and those who experiences them. Talk about your own mental health openly. If you are not transparency, you cannot expect your congregation to be transparency too, because they don't know what you're going. They don't want to know what they're going through too. Be an example of taking good care of your mental health by making mental wellness a priority in your personal life. Be inclusive. Mental health affects all of us. First opportunity to build connection with individuals and family dealing with mental health challenges through trust and acceptance. Foster safe and supportive environment for people to openly talk about mental health, stress, trauma, and related issues. Encourage and express empathy in your family, congregation, and community. Convey a message of non-violence, acceptance, and compassion. So, in conclusion, by definition, faith-based counsel, counseling, also known as pastoral or Christian counseling, combines behavior science found in most counseling practices with teaching found in scripture. It allows an individual to find healing through God rather than oneself or another person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mer. We appreciate you speaking on the place of faith in mental health. And all I can hope for is that hopefully the men and women of God will get to hear these. I think a lot of what you just said has to do with them in order for them to be able to know the boundary and differentiate and also provide the support needed like one of what you said, create an environment for it where people can easily talk about it and not necessarily in the church. It can be at a park, it can be during in form of cookout and stuff that churches do. If the churches are doing picnic where they're bringing some of where they do blood pressure and all of that stuff, checking people's blood sugar, there shouldn't be a reason for not including like a section for mental health conversation and things like that. I do think though that anyone who is working in the house of God should be able to go for at least the basis, just to understand the basis, which doesn't cost much. And there are places that actually might offer even at a very little price, if not for free, to be able to get people to train to recognize, because that's where it starts from, right? Recognize what might be signs of mental health issues and then move it on to the next person, which is what the like mental health coaches that I'm into does. You see something, like the Homeland Security says, see something, say something. You see something that is not right, and then you move the person to the next level. I don't have to be a mental health expert, but I can see certain signals that will make me to say, this person might need to see somebody who's an expert in mental health. And if that's all I can do to help somebody, hey, that's not bad, right? Just like we will see somebody with injury and we do a little bit of first aid. I'm not a doctor. I can't do surgery. I can't do nothing about that injury, right? But I can help to stop the bleed, right? That is a great help that we can be of to people in the mental health community. Help to stop the bleed by being able to be there. You understand something, you highlight it, and you provide the help, and you move the person to the next person who is able to professionally help them, and that would do a lot. Well, thank you so much, Mer, for giving us these. I hope the people in the faith community will listen to these because it is a big deal. It is a big issue and it has to be dealt with. But it cannot be done by people not understanding that, yes, there is indeed a place for mental health issues in our world. Like you said, all of us, whether we like it or not, are affected by mental health issues. This is where we're going to be heading in today. Thank you so much, Mar. Stay with me in the
Thank you.
studio, and I will be back. All right, to everyone who have listened to these, wherever you listen to it from, I want to encourage you, to talk about mental health issues. Talk to others about mental health issues. Say what is on your mind. Say what you're thinking of. Say what is going on. You never know who might be able to help. And if you have to see a mental health provider, a mental health expert, please do so. Health is wealth. Well, same thing with your mental as well. You need your mental health to be able to function. Once something is wrong with your mental, everything is going to be wrong. As they say that if something is wrong with your head, something is going to be wrong with your whole body, because that's just how we are wired as human beings. But as we end today, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier, that when we look at the intersection of mental health awareness and faith, it is about understanding the holistic nature of human being. And as our guest said at the beginning, when we're talking about this, we're talking about our physical health, we're talking about our mental health, we're talking about our spiritual health. You don't want to be devoid in any of those areas. And it is my prayer that the Lord will continue to be with you. Until next time, I remain yours, Solomon Oluwabiye. Have a wonderful week, everyone.